Hello, welcome back to Talk Seagulls, and we're here at the Caxton Arms for another season, and it's so hot again. Oh my God, what is it with this heat this summer? Oh my goodness me, Matt, it's so good to have you back down, but I'm sorry to put you through the pain of walking here from the station.
I mean, I would bring up the temperature, but I'm sure you'd go on about the climate change and whatever else. So that's a story for another day.
Yeah, no, it's been warm, innit? But no, it's good to have you back down, mate. It was obviously, we did actually do a shoot with Matt before, but we didn't actually end up posting it. It was just right before the Welbeck stuff happened. And I think after Welbeck happened, I was like, right, we simply have to film something else, because to post the podcast where we've not mentioned Welbeck once, after Welbeck left, would have just looked really, really strange. So here we are. And actually, to be honest, it's probably worked in our favour a little bit, because we're only, a couple of weeks away from the season starting now. Tromsø potentially next week, which is a bit mad. We'll obviously find out tonight. But overall, there's a lot going on, to be honest, in the Brighton world, off the pitch anyway. There's been a lot of transfer news, been a lot of outgoings, and I kind of wanted to get your general gist of everything at the moment and how you're feeling going into, this new season.
I think obviously the Welbeck news just feels like a massive kick in the teeth in terms of who he's going to and the player we're losing and the experience and the standards he sets in training and all that kind of stuff. And I think that will be a lot more detrimental losing him than your Caicedos, your McAllisters, whoever else we saw with Pascal Gross as well. When he left, there was a massive effect, a massive knock-on effect. So there was that news, and then the performance against Roma brought things up a bit. I think we played some really, really good football. I don't know if you watched the live stream, but we played really well. I think specifically the second half was very positive. We had Roma pretty much camped in their own half, albeit they weren't very good, to be fair, but
it's a friendly.
It is a friendly, and look, there's not much you can take from results. I always say in pre-season that you can take stuff from the way you play, maybe not players.
Yeah,
but
Matt Avery last year.
Yeah. But yeah, sort of the way you play and all the tactical sort of waffle. I think there was a lot to look into in that game, and I think beating them convincingly as well. A few positive player performances, I did just say. Look, there's not much to really look into, but it can also build up. It also builds up the sharpness, fitness, and also player confidence, I suppose. So Yasin Ayari getting himself 2 goals will be a big positive. But the concern now is getting him on a new deal.
Yeah, I agree. And not just him, but also Karu Mitoma, in my opinion. There's a couple there that haven't renewed their deals yet, and I'm thinking it's getting similar to what happened with Van Hecker, really, where he just wasn't renewing, and ended up leaving. We kind of got the same thing with Ayari and Mitoma. So hopefully we can pin them down to at least another couple of years, because we don't want to lose them for anything less than what they're worth to us. I think that Ayari's an unbelievable sort of story, I think, at the club and where he's come from. I mean, we all kind of saw it. I think it was the Bournemouth game away when it was under De Zerbi, and I think we saw him really briefly and thought, okay, he's got a lot of talent. But then when he went on loan, he didn't really have the best period of time, did he, at Coventry and etc. Blackburn, wasn't it, as well? Wasn't the best, came back to Brighton, but has obviously absolutely shone since that point onwards under Hertzler. So he's had an unbelievable sort of career at Brighton, and where he goes from now, I don't know. He could be, a very, very good player to watch, because his World Cup was really good as well. But not just Ayari, I think there was also, to mention Jorginho as well. I think Georgie was worth mentioning just because obviously he scored again, but also this whole debate over who goes up front. We don't have Danny Welbeck anymore, and we don't really have that next best alternative striker, at least until Stefanos Simas is back. So what do you think of the sort of striking situation if Georgie is leading the line against Villa?
I think Georgie can work up front, contrary to what a lot of people think, and contrary to what I've thought in the past. I think last season when he did play up front, there was an issue with the players he had around him and the players he had to connect with. He was always very isolated and always surrounded by defenders. His first touch, for example, when he is holding off a man, isn't great. But there is a lot to work with for Georgie in the 9. I think for one, when he does like to drop in, often what happened last season was he was dropping in, there was no one ahead of him, so we couldn't flood the box with bodies. We couldn't penetrate in behind. And when we did work the ball wide, if we did, there was just no one in there. So I think the first thing you have to do is get bodies ahead of him and sort of bodies more vertically ahead of him. which we are doing, to be fair. Which this is what I mean when you can judge what teams do tactically in pre-season. There was a lot of rotations with Ruther and Hinch, kind of similar to Kane and Bellingham, what they were doing in the World Cup. He has a lot of good fundamentals for a 9. I think he's both-footed. His movement's okay. He's good in the air. He can pin a man. He's very strong. He's quite dynamic. He's good in tight spaces, for example. So from what Hertzler wants in a 9, whatever it is, I think he can suit that quite well. But he has to improve stuff such as his finishing. There was a couple of chances he butchered completely. And sort of the bigger chances and I think it's also our attacking play as well that needs a bit of work. There's not much organisation in terms of where players are running, the finishing zones. There's not much clarity there, I don't think.
Yeah, I think a big bit of that's also down to, obviously, both wingers are potentially unavailable now with Minte and Mitoma. Yet to know really what's wrong with Minte, but it seems though we may not be as bad as we first hopefully feared, but nothing's confirmed yet on him. Mitoma obviously will miss the first game of the season, so will Carlos Baleba. So in terms of, attacking output, it's going to be interesting to see what we really line up with. Obviously, people have been talking about Ibrahim Osman, who's had a pretty decent pre-season again. He tends to be honest, and Hertzler's been talking about him pretty positively over the course of the last couple of weeks. And looks as though he probably won't go on loan again, which is interesting to me because I'm thinking, well, if you don't have Mitoma playing, you don't really have the next left winger, do you?
Yeah, I like Osman a lot. I'm with Hertz on this. Whether he plays on the left or right, don't know, but I think it is good to have wingers that can cover both sides. Minter, I think, is a different story because he's very much limited on the left, and maybe we want to play wingers on their preferred foot side as to, say, get more crosses or more pullbacks or whatever we want to try and do with our attacking play, like I say. But I think he had a good loan out on loan at Birmingham last season. I think Auxerre didn't really work out in France.
No,
I don't think he got the minutes. In theory, it could have been a good loan, but he's a talented boy. He has a lot of attributes that I think we need for a left wing spot. His end product needs a lot of work. He's, like I say, quick and direct, and a player that I think can add a lot of value and will only develop more with the more minutes we give him. Yeah,
I agree with that completely, because as I say, I watched him quite a bit at Birmingham every now and then, seeing their games, and he was always the electric one, always trying to make something happen, very positive, a lot of energy going forward, which is what you kind of want to see. Reminds me a little bit of Minte, but on the other side maybe. Minte is a lot more productive than him, but he was really exciting. I think, for Birmingham fans, you could definitely feel it that, every time he got the ball, there was just that little bit of thinking, go on, take him on sort of thing, and you got that bit of energy from him. And overall, I think, this is where we are now. I think we've got a very young squad, and I'm looking across the amount of experience we've lost. Obviously, it's been probably the biggest talking point. You touched on sort of Danny Welbeck, but we've also lost, obviously, the likes of Solly March, who could be going to Crystal Palace, by the way. And actually, just to touch on that bit first before we get into the experienced players, Solly, obviously, to Palace is not confirmed or anything yet, but it seems as though the rumours just keep getting thicker and thicker. And it seems as though it's only a matter of time now before we potentially see him in a Palace shirt.
It's disgusting to even think about, to be honest. He spent most of his career, what is he, 32, 33?
Yeah.
Obviously, most of his career with us. Okay, he might have been in Palace's under 15s or whatever, but at that age, you just want any opportunity you can get. And I'm pretty sure he is a Brighton fan, a boyhood Brighton fan as well. So
I don't know.
For him to, well, that's what I heard anyway, but for him to know about the rivalry, to be shushing the Palace fans when he scored twice, and then for him to go and backstab like that. I mean, there is I'm not even going to say argument that people have been making that he needs to, earn a wage, earn a living, whatever. He's been a Premier League player for nearly a decade now. Yeah. He's been a pro since 2012. I think understand leaving the club completely. He's not going to get a place, realistically. He hasn't been fully fit for 3 years, and when he has been playing, he hasn't looked anywhere near what he was. And to be honest, at this stage of his career, he won't, to be straight up. But to go to Palace, when you know about everything, you know about the history, you know about the clashes and the games we've had, that's just unacceptable for me. And I just don't see the argument how you can even justify that whatsoever.
I'm going to argue with you for the sake of the podcast, but I do agree. But I'm going to say about Solis, obviously going to Palace is absolutely insane. But also, do you think that from his point of view, staying in the league, staying in the Europa League now. He's actually upgraded.
I think
He's upgraded in terms of where he's playing. He's playing in Europa League. He's going to be going to a team that's won trophies, and he's now going to be playing, in the Premier League continuously.
Am I talking to Henry Swainer?
I'm doing this for the sake of the argument. From his perspective, if Brighton have let you go, do you think kind of have it?
I think a lot of other players, I'd understand it, but Solly, or not even understand it, because we saw with Murray years ago, but the thing is with Murray, I don't think the situations are particularly comparable, because I think he left in League One when we were in League One, is that right?
Yes.
And he went to Palace, who were fighting at the top end of the league and had been relegated.
We just got promoted and he went to Palace, and then we obviously got to Championship, and then they scored. He scored against us in the first,
and then he came back. He did more than his fair share of work. He got us back into the Premier League. He kept us into the Premier League kept us in the Premier League with his goals. Whereas Solly, he hasn't given anything to us for 3 years, realistically. And like I said, I don't think that's an upgrade. Anyone else but them.
Yeah.
Anyone else. I don't care where you go. I don't care if you go Championship, League One, Walton and Hersham, MLS, wherever.
Nice name drop there.
You don't want to go to Walton and Hersham, sorry. Anyone else but there. I don't care.
I know what you're saying.
There.
I know exactly what you're saying.
And it's coming from a fan perspective.
That's what I'm saying. From a fan's perspective, it is infuriating. It's infuriating to see there's no loyalty left in football, right? And I think we've seen that now on so many occasions, especially as a Brighton fan. It feels like you can't really get attached to any player, because no player actually really cares about this club as much as the fans do. And, with all respect to our fan base, I don't think we've got we've got our core following, but then I think beyond our core, it kind of just fizzles out a little bit.
It's a bit concerning, yeah.
But then our core following, I think, our away fans, one of the best in the country, love them.
Yeah, with the actual match going fans. You speak to anyone about this this March situation, and they will say exactly the same.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Don't go there.
From a fan's perspective, it's nuts. And I completely am with you on that. From a player's perspective, I'm looking at the amount of players that have gone now from the experience side, and I'm thinking, how many can we lose and replace? Okay, we brought in obviously Vuskovic, who is very young but is a natural leader, as so we've been told by Hamburg fans. Sorry, should I say Hanover?
Don't get those mixed.
Yeah, of course. By Hamburg fans, and I'll shout out Fiago because he gave us a really good piece, which will be on.
My twin.
Yeah, he does look a bit like you, actually.
I've been told that all.
He does look a bit like you. You're like the English version of him. But yeah, he'll that piece will be out, by the way. So he's written a really nice bit about Vuskovic and what we can expect from him. But more to the point, so obviously he's kind of described him as this natural leader, which is reassuring from our perspective. Obviously, Pascal Strauch's also come in, who I kind of would more look at and think vice captain at Leeds. Someone that's been so experienced, played 119 Premier League games before this, played 180 games plus for Leeds anyway. Has obviously been, vice captain, said before, scores goals as a defender, very sort of assured as a defender. So that's a reassuring signing for me. But is Pascal Strauch as good as Lewis Dunk in his prime? Maybe not. Probably not. Definitely not. Is, Luka Vuskovic better than Van Hecker? Maybe. Hopefully. We'll see, sort of thing. So I think when we're replacing these players, it's going to be interesting to see how they step up immediately to become this next leader, because we're kind of putting a lot of pressure on youngsters now.
There's that element, but there's also the current crop of, your Buscaglis, your Barts, for example. Players who have been in the Premier League now. Buscagli, he's only had one season in the Premier League, but he was captain of PSV for years. Bart has spent this is his fourth season?
Yeah, he's only 23, but he's played, I think, over 25 games, 26 games maybe for Netherlands as well.
Yeah, there's that. And I think you probably look at Bart and you think he's a leader. You want to think he's a leader. I don't know what he's like in and around the dressing room.
He's commanding, isn't he?
His personality, but I think I think Buscagli is definitely ready to step up into that kind of vice captain role. Like you said, Pascal Strauch, Vuskovic has been hailed as a leader. Of course, we've got Pascal Gross and Dunk and Steele and the senior leadership group. You can make the argument that, look, these players were getting on and we needed to replace these players with younger, experienced players. You might look at the fact that we've tied Struijk down to, I think it's a 5-year deal, isn't it? So we see him developing into that kind of, the Veltman-esque kind of player where we signed Veltman aged, 28, 29, and he's gone on to be a cult hero / legend. So in a way, we've replaced these players. I don't think people are going to see it in the immediate future, but we do need another sort of, I reckon, 30, maybe even 30 plus player that can be a squad option. Okay, maybe a centre mid I think would be ideal, but has that sort of commanding presence in the dressing room, that has won things, that has had experience in top level dressing rooms.
I'm with you on that, and I think maybe 1 or 2 more would be good. I think just from the sheer amount that has gone and the amount that's kind of known the club's culture is going to be weird to adjust to. But then at the same time, it's hard to kind of say because, as you say rightly, there are young players who are capable of sort of stepping up pretty quickly. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to get too sort of carried away either way because it's really hard to say at this stage. And we've not had like an abundance of pre-season games yet. We've kind of got one more against Bologna, and then we're straight into action against probably Tromsø. Let's just say it's Tromsø.
It's Tromsø first.
They're not going to lose that game, are they?
What is it? 5-0.
5-0, and it's on tonight, so I can kind of have the confidence to say we're playing Tromsø.
Are they at home as well? I think they're at home.
Yes. So my point is, we're into action really quickly, and we're kind of expecting quite a lot of these younger players. And historically at Brighton, we've always been told to not put too much pressure on young players. We've always been told to kind of give them time and let them bed in and settle and whatever. And I feel like now we've kind of got to be like, look, Luka Vuskovic got to step up now. Pascal Struijk's got to be ready. You know what I mean? We're looking at Zadok Johanna now. If Minte's out, we may even see him starting the opening game. Mario Kozia-Dubry. Again, another option that could even be starting in the first game of the season, depending on obviously how the next couple of games go. Because we've not got a great deal of depth beyond these younger options, and if that's the route we want to go in, so be it. I'm all for it. I'm ready to see what's going to happen. But I do think it is a big risk and it is a big gamble. But as we know, Bloom is a gambling man, so that's what he likes to do. I think overall, what was your sort of take on obviously Welbeck going to Chelsea? I think, the dust has settled a little bit now. Originally, there was a lot of outrage towards him going to Chelsea, including from myself. But I think as time's gone on a little bit, maybe I'm looking at Welbeck now and I'm thinking, kind of see why he went. When you're looking at from a player's perspective, you're looking at the rumours, obviously, that he was pushed out from the club, which I don't mind saying because they said it on BBC Sussex, so I'm all right. So you're kind of thinking, well, I would say that that's probably quite true. If that's the case, why would he not go to a club the size of Chelsea?
Well, first of all, it's not really you said it on BBC Sussex, but Bloom and Barber literally both said it in the fan forum. I think they said, look, we need to think about the path of Babis, of Simas, of probably even Ferguson as well, Rutter, maybe a new 9. Doubt it at this stage of the window, and we don't really tend to do business in August. But from those rumours, I think I was exactly the same. I was livid when I saw the transfer go through and the rumours and whatever. It's another player going to Chelsea. You never want to see players going to Chelsea with obviously our history over the last 4 years. But you do understand it. I don't really see it as one last payday, if I'm honest. I think Danny Welbeck is a player at his age that can add genuine value on and off the pitch to Chelsea. Is he better than Delap? Definitely. Is he more proven and probably better than Emeka? Owen probably won't be happy with me saying this. Absolutely. Who else is there? I've lost count of the strikers. João Pedro, obviously.
João Pedro will probably start for them still.
The only one that Welbeck can seriously rotate with. They're looking to offload Emeka and Delap and Guiu.
But they want 50 million for Delap, which I think is absolutely bonkers. Like, who's going to pay that sort of money? And this is the thing, we're actually in a bit of a predicament in terms of getting strikers because there's not a great deal of options at the moment for us out there.
I think if you look in the right areas, there is. And I'm a bit of a believer in terms of buying the dip on strikers. There is a lot of strikers that have gone to, I don't know, they've had a decent-ish move, maybe started well, shown some signs, and have fallen off. One of those for me is because I watched him a lot actually at Sturm Graz because of Malik Yalko. I watched a lot Mika Birth at Monaco. He probably won't cost too much. He started on fire for Monaco. I don't know. Maybe he comes back with Felipe Luis as manager. Maybe in the Conference League we might even come up against him. Players like that, I think they are dotted around Europe, dotted around top 5 leagues even, and there is even options, you drop into maybe Norwegian league or, okay, they'll be very, very raw, but there is options. You know where to look. There is options everywhere.
I like that answer, to be honest. It's a good answer. So yeah, overall, we're looking interesting, I'd say, at this stage going into it. Obviously, let's say it's not quite over yet. We do have Bologna. Let's talk a little bit about the Conference League. Obviously, I imagine, as I say, it will be Tromsø, which means that there's only going to be an allocation of around 300 tickets for this game in the away end. And I think that the ticketing system is between 320 points and 220 points. Am I right in saying that?
I believe so, yeah.
Which means that it's basically going to be a free-for-all. And
most people have got, what, 300 plus, I would have thought.
Probably.
A lot of
to be
people
honest,
have
I've not even looked how many I've got, but I'd imagine it's around that going to most home and away games. Last season, I didn't do as many as I have done for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
But that's fair enough. But I still should have enough. My point is, going into this, it's going to be really hard to get tickets. And it kind of opens up a huge gulf of the amount of people that can get them. So this is going to sell out super quick. Like, you might even... I mean, there can be a lot of people that are sort of very cultured Brighton fans. They've gone to a lot of games that may not even get to go to this game. It's going to be really difficult. But either way, what an insane trip to have. Like, I don't think of any of the potential draws that we could have got. A trip to literally the northernmost club in the world. You can't think of a better one. That is so good. Like, what a trip.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be going, but I'm mega jealous of anyone that does get to go.
I'm going to try my best. I can't promise I'll be there because
that is so cool.
I'm trying my best.
Like, you get the Northern Lights, watching Europe.
I think it's still midnight sun up there though. That's the issue. So it may not get dark.
Sick, though.
Still cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Arctic Circle and all that, and I've heard Tromsø is very, very nice as well. It is a ball late to get to though.
Well, they've put on flights directly now from Gatwick. So
to Tromsø?
To Tromsø, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So maybe I shouldn't have said that because I need to gatekeep them actually. So don't book them until I've booked them, and then you can book them. No, it looks unbelievable. It's called the Paris of the North. I've never been so excited about a Brighton away game before, honestly. I was looking at it thinking everything I looked at about this place just looks more and more fun.
Yeah.
And it'll be nice to get out of the heat for a bit as well. I'm going to go stand there in like 0 degrees, be like enjoying this.
Jump in the snow,
yeah. But yeah, it could be incredible. I really hope I can get tickets. 300 allocation, 6,000 capacity stadium. It's literally in the middle of like houses.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I can find a way somehow to justify getting them.
Yeah, it's whether you just go there and accept you're not going to be able to go to the game. If you'd be comfortable with that, like you're going to be.
But if I'm thinking Friday, I might be able to snag a ticket.
Yeah,
because I mean, it's points irrelevant really, because of obviously the large gap, and the large amount of people that can get them. The website will probably crash anyway.
That's what I mean. So. Like, it's just going to 300 tickets.
You'll have to sit in a queue as well.
I'm trying to work out how many people that gap of tickets is. Yeah, of that many points.
Yeah.
You know, how many people have got 220 plus points? That seems quite a lot.
I would have thought most people. I think in terms of, let's say, what's the biggest away end in the league? I'm trying to think.
Well, it's got to be United or...
But like last season, probably would have been something like West Ham.
It's whatever the biggest clubs
that's
are.
Probably that allocation, maybe more than that. I could be completely off with that.
So if we're talking,
a lot of people.
say a 6,000 to 8,000, right?
Yeah, I'll probably
to get 300 tickets. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And the same goes.
I wish everyone luck to who is going to try this, but not more luck than me because I want to go. Goodness me.
I might actually try and log on. Can't lie.
But yeah, it will be good. Either way, what a trip, right? I mean, we would like to think we win this game, but hey, look, we didn't expect them to go to Romania and win 5-0 against, was it Cluj?
Yeah, it was.
Am I saying that right? Cluj. Yeah. And you know, you never know in these games. I was talking to a Palace fan the other day, and they were saying, look, No, none of these games are easy. You can't look at these games and think, we should be beating them because they're from Norway. No, it doesn't work like that.
That's a weak mentality to have against opposition like this, because even we saw in the Europa League, AEK Athens were ridiculously physically strong. They
causes
really
so many problems.
They were so athletic. And they just had a sort of tougher mentality, especially like these Balkan teams as well. And the further into Europe they go, the smaller the clubs, the more they're going to want to progress into the latter stages, because they'll get their bonuses, and at this level of football, obviously it's less well paid, and I think even in Norway they're more adapted to the conditions. I think we'll play on 3G; they're more adapted to that, and people will be surprised. There is a massive difference between playing on 3G and playing on grass, because the ball bounces, it holds up, it doesn't skid. There's these differences we have to get used to, and I think we'll probably train on Astro the week before, because there must be an Astro pitch or something at Brighton.
It has to be, yeah.
But there's a lot of things that people don't account for when thinking about a team like Tromsø and like these smaller teams.
I'm with you. And then if they are not going to be easy at all, but I'm really looking forward to it. The home game, I don't think it's even sold out, and there's only 14,000 tickets have sold so far, which I'm really surprised by. I mean, obviously, I know that the kickoff time might put a lot off because they could be working, which I understand that.
It's pretty cheap tickets as well.
Really cheap, but it's not open to the full Amex, is it? It's a really small. I think because obviously I'm a West Upper, my West Upper is completely shut. So I've had to get tickets in the northwest corner. I think I ended up getting.
Okay.
But yeah, either way, we'll see what happens. But Matt, absolute pleasure to have you on, mate. I think we've covered pretty much everything.
More or less.
Yeah, I think we'll obviously, if anyone else leaves, which is probably now going to happen because we filmed, we can obviously do this again. But yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic to have you on. Give a plug. What's going on with you?
Maybe Talks Football. Obviously, TikTok, Instagram, MJ Avery, Twitter. Is that it? I think it's more or less it. Download Your Score just for the plug. I don't know. I think that's it.
Nice.
MJ Avery Insta as well.
Oh, flipping heck, he's got every account for everything, haven't you?
He's
got a cooking channel, he's got vlogs channel,
and
travel channel.
Talks anything. Pro Clubs content.
Yeah, Pro Clubs
Backstretch
battles. We'll do a Talk Seagulls Pro Clubs, actually. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Make sure you also stream the TSR Football Podcast. We've started another podcast for this summer, and we'll be doing it throughout the course of the season. So also have a look at that. And yeah, follow Matt, and we'll see you very, very soon. Goodbye.